Here we go with some more Latin. 8-1. People who are being absolved from their crime, part 4. Appius Claudius. I don't know whether he was more of an injury or injustice or an insult of religion or of his fatherland. Si quidem sens, he neglected the very ancient custom of the one, that must be of the religion, and of the other, of these country, he lost the very beautiful fleet. Cast up again, or exposed to the hostile people, when to flee his owed punishment in no way seemed possible to happen, suddenly there arose a beneficial shower, and he was made safe from condemnation or damnation. So it was a ablative absolute by a sudden beneficial arising of rain. Anyway, 4, this caused the discussion, the disruption of this Inquisition, and it was as if it was by the gods interpelling or intervening that another one, it was decided not to, from a fresh instaurare, a new one, to make again another Inquisition. Thus, to him, a maritime storm had been the cause of him getting indicted for this trial, but looks like heavens have brought him safety. So they figured the gods caused a storm that lost the fleet, and the gods interrupted his trial. 5. The same type of auxilium or help was of Tuccia, the Vestal Virgin, who was a Rhea. She was accused of a crime of incest, which in their days could mean any kind of impurity, not what we do with a family member. She emerged from this obscure cloud of infamy of her chastity. She who was conscious, with a certain conscience of her own sincerity, she dared seek a hope of some safety by this uncertain type of argument. The usually means two-headed or twofold type of way it could go, so she trusted that things would go well. Okay, 4, a bit of a reason. Having erected a cribro, a sieve, she said, Vesta, vocative to the goddess, if, what have we got, always I have moved chaste hands in your service, or in your sacred service or something, imperative, make it that I shall draw from the Tiber water, and I will prefer it, or I'll bring it into your temple. So she's going to get a bucket full of water in a sieve to prove it. This must be what she's trusting here. Audacata and tamare, adverbs. So boldly and rashly, with these vows, jactus, thrown out of the, cast out, or boasting, you might even say. So these vows have been made by the Socodote, by this priestess. Anyway, nature ceded to us. Obviously, some supernatural thing happened, or the holes weren't that big. Anyway, 6. Likewise, El Piso was accused by El Claudio Pulcro that some grave and intolerable injustices or injuries he had brought to their Socis, their allies. Not fear of a ruinous doubt, he avoided. So what is this? He avoided some horrible ruin by some fortuitous auxilio, some favourable type of help came to him. Namque 4. Through this time itself, in which very grim, we'll take Tristes as grim, these sentiments or thoughts were being bandied about concerning him, a sudden force of clouds incidented. So a force of clouds, rainstorm happened, and when he was prostrate on the humai, on the ground, osculating, kissing the feet of the jurymen, he filled his mouth with canis, which is a foul sort of mud, could have shit and things in it. Anyway, which conspect them with this site, the whole Inquisition again, went from severity to clementia, to clement and more milder. It transstooled, it changed, it crossed over, because satisfactorily now, they arbitrati sunted, they thought he had given enough grave punishment to the allies or something here, and thus deductum necessitates, etc. Anyway, he had chucked himself down. That's the same means he did it to himself, in such a way as a supplicant, as a begging for mercy, and he was forced so deformita, so ugly, to tolerate himself. So he'd throw himself on the ground and prostrated and cried a bit, and it looks like they've forgiven him. Okay, so 7. I shall subnect, I shall tie together two people who have been absolved or acquitted by the blame or fault of their accusers. Okay, so we saw this form 1 ended. They thought that he had been led to this necessity, that he had done all this. Anyway, Q. Flavius, by the aedile C. Valerius, amongst the people, he was an accused, and actus, he was brought before these people as the client or to be judged. When was it 14 of the tribes, he had been condemned by their votes, suffrages, he proclamated that himself was being crushed as an innocent man, or judged an innocent man. To who Valerius, with an equally clear or loud voice, he responded, it doesn't make any interesse, it doesn't make any difference whether he is guilty or innocent, that he should die, provided that he's subjunctives, that he should die. That's one of those clauses which takes a subjunctive, provided that. Okay, so the lobe has got evidence indicates the defendant was M. Flavius of Livy, accused by the aediles of sexual offences in 328 or earlier. Okay, with which violence of the dictum of this phrase that he just shouted out, he handed a gift to his adversaries as far as the rest of the tribes were going. He had cast down his personal enemy, but the same guy, when for certain, pessum datum, that can be one word, pessum do, but he had cast down to the lowest for certain, he was believing, but really he had lifted him up, and in this victory in itself, he had lost the victory. So if he hadn't been boasting that he didn't care whether he was guilty or innocent, the rest of the tribes probably would have went along, but since he was willing to kill his personal enemy, whether he was innocent, the rest turned against him. Okay, we'll finish up. C. etiam casconium. In the accusative, he was a reum. He was again accused or defendant under the civilian law on account of many and most evident crimes. Without any doubt, he was nocentem. Again, in the accusative, he's guilty. What have we got? A song which was recited in the judicial halls in the court of his accuser Valerius Valenti. There was this poem recited in which a boy praetextum, so it was a young boy, and a freeborn girl by him had been corrupted, so they'd been seduced, and he signified this in a poetical joke. He wrecks it. Looks like he got away with it because he was accused only in a poem. Seeing that, anyway, si quidem, the judges, rati sunted, they thought that this was unjust for him to be sent away as the victor, who palmem, who shouldn't take the palms, being carried by another, but meribate, deserved to be given this from yourself, blah, blah, blah. But moreover, it looks like Valerius, in the absolution, in the freeing of Coscinius, he was damned himself more than Casconius was liberated in his own cause. You'd probably go over that and make more sense than I just did, but it's pretty obvious if you want to take some time. I should do a daily dictionary. Okay, so pessum do I've chosen. We saw it split up into two parts, Pessum do, possum don't know if that's right, but anyway. Destroy, ruin, do away, remove, sink to the bottom. That's what the usual meaning is, because pessum is an adverb in itself, meaning at the bottom. Do means to give or descend. Okay, so that's all that. This fella here who'd been accused, without doubt he was guilty. His accuser read a poem, very corrupted this, but it arrested him, it had set him free, basically put him on his feet, as they say. Since the judges didn't want to send him away victory, to carry away these palms to another, he deserved it, so it's a very strange way of putting it, but anyway, the guy who accused him got in more trouble, it looks like, because the other guy got away free.